Los Cabos Drumsticks present
Quarter notes.
Right, so welcome to Los Cabos Presents Quarter Notes.
Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome. This is us. We're live-ish, pre-recorded. I'm Dré, and this is my good buddy Rich Knox.
Hey,
What's up?
hey, man. Not much. I'm just excited to do this first episode.
Yeah.
Figure out what we're doing.
I'm a socially awkward person when I'm outside of a venue or playing music, so we'll see.
So stick around, folks, and we're gonna have a great time.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, man. No, this is great. This is great. Tell me what are we gonna do on this podcast? What's this all about?
Well, hopefully we talk some drum stuff. Seeing as it is, part of the Los Cabos Drumsticks universe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think just get to know each other, get to know some other people. Want to bring some more people on from the brand, be it touring, clubbing, or some educators, because Los Cabos has a wide variety of players in the brand. So we're gonna bring some of those folks on and kind of tickle their brain and find out it's called Quarter Notes for a reason. So kind of want to find out what Quarter Notes means to everyone, because we all have a different approach to what they are, really.
How we play them, for sure. How we conceptualize them. Anybody who doesn't know, who's listening right now, a quarter note is generally 1/4 of a whole note, and most of the music that we play as musicians, not all, but a lot of music is in 4/4, and so the bottom 4 in 4/4 it's like a fraction. It's like a 1/4. It's like so we're counting quarter notes. We're counting 4 quarter notes, but the way that you play those, that's what music is.
It's what happens in between them. That's the fun stuff. Yeah, because I can only play, because I can only count to 4, so I can't play anything outside of quarter notes.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I've heard you play. It's you got some other notes in there.
Well, I don't know what I'd call them though.
You might call them 8th notes or 16th notes. See, folks, it's become apparent I'm going to be the expert here, the music scientist, and I'll tell any questions you might have. You just write us at where do they write us?
I don't know.
We'll figure that out. We'll edit that in.
We'll get an email.
I'll answer your questions.
Yeah. You can DM us. We're on Instagram. We're on
DM
all that stuff. Come find us. So as people can probably tell, this is a very serious professional operation. I don't know why it's the two of us doing this. I'm sure they could have found other people.
Definitely.
But I guess so. People probably don't know who we are. And if they do, I apologize in advance. But so let's let's talk to people about who you are. Like, you're obviously Rich Knox. You play in a rock and roll band, and you got some other stuff going on that was just dropped. I'm excited about. I'm excited for you.
Thanks, man.
So just kind of tell people about who you are.
Cool. So I'm one of the hosts of Los Cabos Drumsticks presents Quarter Notes, the show. My name is Rich Knox. I'm also the drummer in the band Danko Jones. I'm from Prince Edward Island, Canada. I have played drums professionally for over 20 years. I just launched a company called Performers Health, and I have a offering called Fit Drummers, which is kind of apropos, is it not?
I think so.
The listeners, quite possibly. And it is a health and wellness business with the mission of helping drummers be more healthy, get more healthy, stay healthy in both mind and body, and potentially even their spirit. So there you go.
Mhm.
Aside from that, that's those are the only quasi interesting things about me. Dré, tell us about you.
Um, well, I don't do drums professionally as a living. Like that's not how I make my money. I have a day job, Monday to Friday, kind of a gig. It's a pretty good job. I don't think I'll leave it. Um, and that's as much as I'll say about it, just because,
Must be nice. Yeah.
yeah. It's got a pension, which is good for down the road. Um, I play in a punk rock band called Six Gun Smoke, and I got some other little projects, but that's the main one. So we play around in Atlantic Canada. We haven't toured outside of that at this point. Just kind of do the club scene with some other like-minded local musicians, mostly in the punk scene, but rock and roll. Punk is just a variation of rock, so um, it's a little outlaw spaghetti western meets punk rock. So it's a fun little project.
Nice.
And let's see. Oh, I have another podcast called The Conundrum with Dré, where I talk to other musicians and artists, mostly from Atlantic Canada. I'm gonna this new iteration of it. I'm gonna branch out a bit, but mostly with people that have ties to Atlantic Canada in some way or another. Um,
Mhm.
just because I think Atlantic Canada doesn't get a lot of spotlight.
Big
Um,
time.
and we can take any other province or country to school with the talent we have. So that's kind of the idea for that. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Love it.
me in a nutshell.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. I've been on that podcast and it was a
Yes.
great conversation we had.
Ooh.
So
Speaking of other local bands, I'm sporting my Which is Which mug.
nice.
They are from Moncton, New Brunswick. They are an awesome rock and roll with some punk attitude. And Nadine, the drummer, is also with Los Cabos Drumsticks. So there we go.
Nice.
Um,
Nice. I haven't
so
heard them, but I love the
oh
name.
dude,
And
oh
I
yeah.
hope I meet them.
Oh, definitely. I think now outside of because I think anybody if your band were to tour and tour into Atlantic Canada, outside of trying to plug myself to play on the same stage, because that'd just be a lot of fun. I would say these guys
Oh, cool.
should open the show for sure, 100%.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Actually, PJ, the guitar player, he's played in a bunch of well-known bands that have come out of the Moncton, New Brunswick scene back in the '90s. The Monoxides,
Oh,
they
yeah.
toured all over Canada. They were quite popular. They had a record deal for a little while when that was a thing. The the Quarter Notes is also there's a tie-in with Los Cabos. It's the name of the monthly newsletter that's starting this year, 2023. So there's kind of a tie-in with that name as well. I think that's kind of why it's called that. Maybe, I don't know. That
I
kind of
like
makes
it.
sense.
I think it makes total sense.
Yeah.
They named the newsletter after us. That's so cool.
I'm sure that's
That
how
makes
that went. I'm sure
yeah,
that's how
that's
that went.
right on. And I'm sure anybody who's interested in Los Cabos Drumsticks or what the artists are up to could subscribe to this newsletter.
Absolutely. If they know how to use the internet, I'm sure they can go to the Los Cabos website,
Mm-hmm.
which is probably www.loscabosdrumsticks.com,
Something like that.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if you go to the website, that's the first thing that's going to pop up is to join the monthly newsletter. So sign up for that, put your email in. Lots of cool tidbits, lots of updates for different promotions and stuff that are going on. So definitely subscribe to that and
Mhm.
check out the artist roster. Chances are a lot of people on the roster without even realizing that that's what they're playing. So so yeah, Los Cabos Drumsticks is you just joined the roster this year in
I did.
2022. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so what's it been like since you came onto I mean, we call it a family because whenever you hear another drummers playing the brand, it's sort of like, how like in the summertime when there's like a motorbike going by, and then there's another
Hmm.
motorbike coming by the other way. They kind of
Hmm.
do that hand wave or that
Oh
nod, you
yeah.
know.
Oh yeah, the special.
The special hand, like it's only bikers can do it.
Yeah.
Um, so it's kind of the same thing with Los Cabos. I find whenever I see somebody else that has the brand or plays the brand, it's kind of like if you know, you know, right?
Yeah.
So how so yeah, you came on this here. So what's it been like since you've come on and been welcomed into the family?
Yeah. I would say it's been awesome. I was just thinking like I don't want to big it up too much for anybody who's not lucky enough to be part of the brand. But you can always buy the sticks. But I
Oh
will
yeah,
say that being an artist that endorses the brand has been very, very personable, very personal and personable to be involved with the Los Cabos crew and family. It was a pleasure working with Ryan. I was even mistaken once as a rep, like a sales rep of some kind for the company already, and passed on uh, someone put in an application to be an artist. So that was cool. I
right.
also probably the coolest thing that has happened. I mean, aside from the great drumsticks, that's and I'm not just saying that. I really have loved playing with these sticks. Fellow that works with us in on a road crew, Tim, swears that I'm a better drummer since playing these sticks. Now, I don't
Really?
know that it's true, but
Okay.
the whole, imagine what I could have done if I had a, you know,
If you had a switched a long time
who I
ago,
could have
yeah,
been, who I could
yeah.
have been. But
You could have
anyway,
been you could have
we're
been
here
somebody.
now. I could have, but we're here now. And the coolest thing that happened was earlier in the summer, I ordered some sticks for an upcoming tour,
Hmm.
and it just so worked out that we had to. Brian Adams was coming to PEI,
Hmm.
and I'm friends with Brian Adams, drummer Pat Stewart,
Hmm.
and his sticks were sent in the same package just for expediency and to make sure that he had them on time. And I got to go and deliver them, and I got to see the show, and the show rocked. And so,
Oh,
because of the Los Cabos hookup, uh, I got to go see that show. So that was a very cool thing. So it does feel like a family,
yeah,
and we got to hang out, and so good times. It's been good times. That's all I'll say.
yeah, yeah.
And I got to
Sweet.
meet you, and you've been very uh, personable as well, might I say?
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Not so bad
So
yourself.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Like I started playing them again. Um, a friend of mine who I would consider him a brother has been playing them for like ever. Warren Beatty. He played. It used to be called the Kendra Gale Band, and now they're called Poets and Liars. They added a bass player. They were a two piece for a while, and he swore by them. And then he just talking, and he showed them to me, and then I tried them out, and then I was like, damn, these are amazing drumsticks. And so I just started playing them, using them, and then I got in touch with. I had now again, this is a testament to the customer service and the whole taking care of anybody, whether you're an artist on the roster or not. And I don't want the podcast to turn into like us just pumping tires for Los Cabos, but just as an example,
Trying to move copies of our newsletter.
right?
Yeah.
Um, so I had I was going to try a certain size of a stick, and so I bought them at along in McQuaid. And when I got home, and I didn't, how you always buy sticks at the store, you always do the tabletop test. Um, I whatever, I just grabbed sticks and left. I didn't care. So
Mhm.
when I got home, one of them was was a little off. Um,
Oh,
so I typed on Facebook. I sent a message, and they responded like right away. I sent them a little video of it, and they said, "Yeah, go to Long and McQuaid, and we'll cover it." So they, yeah, sure enough, I went down and got another set of sticks, and Bob was your uncle. Like,
that's very cool.
and I'm just like nobody, like, so from there, messaging back and forth and just developing personal contact with them, some rapport. And then now I'm on the roster. Like, I mean, I had some other
Yeah.
things going on.
Yeah, sure. But yeah. No, I that makes sense. They're great sticks, and that's a great story to hear.
Mm,
That because that's been my experience too.
yeah. Like at the time I was playing with Six Gun Smoke, but I wanted to kind of try something different, expand my vocabulary. And I joined a local blues band from Miramichi called the Terry Whalen Band.
Mhm.
So I toured with them for 2 summers, you know, did the Dutch Mason Festival and a bunch of different stages. Excuse me. And then in 2015, we'd won the Music New Brunswick Blues Artist of the Year while I was with them. So
Yes.
I had a little pretend trophy or whatever. So I was kind of trying to build a name for myself that way. And yeah, so here
Nice,
I
man.
am. Yeah. Speaking of awards,
Congrats. Yeah,
um, your latest album, Power Trio, was nominated for a Juno.
it was. Yeah. Didn't
Yeah.
win. Didn't win though.
It's nice enough to be,
We got the nod.
what what's
Got a
what's
nod
the thing that they say? It's like, it's just good to be amongst the nominees or what.
up in amongst them. Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. Um,
Yeah.
so
No, that was cool. That was cool.
yeah, what were some of the highlights from this year?
Highlights of 2022.
Yeah.
Uh, well, I had a great summer of touring. It was a busy year with the band, and it was awesome. We got to tour that album, uh, finally, like, and tour again after a break. And yeah, we just had an awesome run of shows through Germany, and we played a couple in Switzerland, played in a couple in the Netherlands, one in Belgium, just in November and December of this year. Those were amazing. We played Wacken again this past summer,
Dude.
which was killer.
Yeah.
Uh, that concert was recorded and broadcast all over the place, so that was super cool too.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, got to, like, I don't know, it was a great year. Everybody, I think, in the festival circuit and stuff that I was talking to just seemed a little bit more like ready to chat and stuff. I think everybody was just like a little cooped up for a while, and we're just ready to like hang out a bit more. So I got to meet some cool drummers, and yeah, just like chatted up a bit. So that was like some super highlights, I would say.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I saw there was on your Instagrams you and Danko were side stage for Weezer,
Yeah.
doing some
Yeah.
backup vocals for Buddy Holly. Like,
Yeah, man. I was big, huge Blue Album fan,
oh,
Weezer
dude.
fan. Um, that was like one of my go-to albums, you know, in my prime of just discovering my own sound, like stuff that I liked. And so
Hmm.
that was pretty stellar
Yeah,
to
yeah.
watch
But
them play.
they didn't have Pat with them though, right? They had Dave Illich.
Yeah, Dave Eales
Yeah.
was playing and he
I mean, he's
nailed
a
it.
killer drummer, but he's not Pat. Like, it's Weezer's Weezer because of Pat. So as fun as
Yeah,
that would have been, and here I am, sitting in New Brunswick while you're side stage to Weezer,
yeah.
complaining that it's not Pat.
No, I would have been, there is something about that. Like, yeah, I mean, Dave nailed it, man. I wouldn't say, and I had gotten a lesson from him back in the day, and so it was cool to like see him play a show, and he nailed it. But there is something to be said about that. Drummers, a lot of bands go through drummers, including like I'm not the first drummer in Danko Jones,
No,
so
I
I
don't
know
think you're the
all
10th
about.
drummer.
I'm the seventh,
Okay.
easy. Uh, there's something about that though. I mean, there's still people that'll come up to me and be like, "Man, you're great, but like, I still love like this other guy," and it's like, thanks,
Really?
buddy. But like, yeah, it's kind of, some people are weird, but like,
Yeah.
you know what? I like that era too. So like,
Yeah.
sometimes, like, you know what? And usually the person that they like, I'm not going to name who it is, but it's the guy that I like the most too. So it's like,
Okay.
all right, you know what? That was the coolest era, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll just think that you have that nostalgia, you have that connection with that guy. You
Yeah.
know,
I get it.
it's
I
better
see it.
now. It's better now.
Oh,
It's better
dude,
now.
way better.
But I get it. I get it. So
Well,
so
I
that's the
mean,
thing that drummers have to deal with. So like,
yeah.
you know,
I agree.
I guess anybody would have to deal with that if you're but like the drums, you're right, man. They add the flavor to the band
Yeah,
that's hard to
there's a different
replace.
feel to a band with one drummer versus a different drummer when they come in or whatever. And that's got to be hard on the band. Like not just sound wise, but you know, personality wise. Because as
Yeah.
somebody coming into the band, you're not the original person. You're coming into an already established unit. Well, I guess we're going in here now. So what was that like for you coming into Danko as not the first drummer, kind
Hmm.
of fitting into those shoes while still wearing your own? You know what I mean? Like being comfortable in your shoes, but having to
Mm.
fit those shoes into someone else's shoes. it's like
Right.
it's like a
Yeah,
turducken of sneakers. Like,
yeah. It was like, it's like intimidating to go into a new band. Like I assume that most people that are listening right now are playing in a band. Maybe not all. So if you don't play in a band, okay, let's say you play in a band. You know that there is these relationships, like you said. I'll echo that. These relationships build over time. Now, if you've been on a band that's been on the road and you've spent like lots of time together in
mhm,
vans or whatever, or it's sharing rooms together and stuff like that, there's another level of camaraderie and familiarity there that is there. And then if you're a band that's been together for 15 years before a new member joined, then there's like, that's 15 years of history. So that was what happened when I joined the guys. So like there's like very, in some ways, very like they're totally cool and nice guys. Like there was no, that wasn't weird, but just, I mean, just by like you're joining this thing that already exists and you're just
mhm.
like trying to like, I, I think that's, yeah. One thing I've noticed and learned through like, just my career is that you definitely got to play the drums great, but like the being able to like fit in and like be cool and read the room and
Mhm.
know how to fit into a scenario is super important. And so that's where my head was at. I was trying to like fit in musically and fit in personally,
Mhm.
and it was fine. I mean, it was
Yeah.
fine. It was like intimidating and weird and hard and awkward, but also
Mhm.
fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, with them they had like three, like, well, like I said, seven drummers, but really like there was like only like three or four that were like kind of there for a couple
Like
of years and played on
mainstays.
records.
Yeah.
Yeah, like played on records and stuff. So like it is weird. Like I feel like there's certain even to our songs now, like I kind of think like, oh, I'm gonna play a Damon part here. Oh, this is like a Dan thing, or this is an Adam thing or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, or I don't know, like I don't know at what point they become rich things, but whatever. It's like there was a lot of things to try to like. I'm playing this totally different drummer played on this record, so it has a different feel. But
Mhm.
eventually, now I feel like it's me. So eventually, like I finally, to use your analogy, like found my own shoes and put them on.
Yeah.
But yeah, for a while I was wearing everybody else's shoes,
Mhm.
and yeah, whatever. So
Yeah.
it's yeah. I hope that answer the question.
Yeah. 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 For sure.
Sweet.
But yeah, like because there'd be a certain level of like inside jokes and stuff like that that people would already have that you kind of have to learn. Like you said, read the room. Um,
Yeah.
I've never. I guess when I joined the Terry Whalen thing, I wasn't the first drummer, nor the last. And I didn't play on any of the albums, so everything that I was doing was definitely trying to like use my voice without changing the song or the feel because it was a blues band and blues is very much groove and feel oriented. But I was definitely a punk drummer playing blues. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah.
So I was definitely doing things that I think I added some volume to the band, like
Yeah.
I guess some edginess to it or some
Sure. Yeah.
gravitas to the parts. Um, I remember like playing. I think it was the Hullabaloo Festival in Perth Andover, which is probably my favorite festival that we ever played, and it's an
I like that.
amazing.
I like Perth Andover.
Oh
It's
man,
like a
that
great place to
festival.
stop. I've never been to the festival. It's a great place to pull off the road.
Yeah, the Hullabaloo Festival, Adelaide Baird, she or Heidi, I guess I should say, she just won Festival of the Year at Music New Brunswick this year. Like
Nice.
it's the little festival that could. It's a whole community that comes around. It's at a campsite, and it's a whole weekend. I mean, they bring when I was there, they had Ben Kaplan. Oh, I can't even think of the amount of names they've had there. But they're just a fantastic festival. And it's the type of place, like when we played, we didn't get put up in a hotel. We stayed at her house, and we
Yeah.
had a kitchen party afterwards. And we all just kind of crashed wherever. And it was just that whole community feel to it. Kind of going on a sidetrack.
No, that's
But
cool.
it was just such a good family vibe at a festival. Like, so where are we? So yeah, so 2022, that was a
That's it.
year that existed.
That was a
Not
year,
like,
man. What was some of your highlights?
um, we went to the East Coast Music Awards. We were nominated for Loud Recording of the Year. So I guess our debut album, we had an EP that we kind of like Bad Religion, Into the Unknown. We kind of brushed it under the rug. It doesn't exist anymore. If anyone knows that Bad Religion story, it's kind of funny. Um, but yeah, so we recorded the album in 2020, put it out late 2021. So it was in the cycle for 2022. And so it was nominated that year. Yeah, for Loud Recording. So we went to the awards ceremony, and we didn't win, but we didn't expect to win either. Like, we just went to have a good time and meet other people that were nominated. And I made some contacts there. And Los Cabos, because it was hosted in Fredericton, New Brunswick. So because it was hosted there, Los Cabos had a booth and it had a whole thing. So I went there as a representative and kind of hung out at the booth and met some people and threw drumsticks at people, and it was a good time. So
That's cool.
ECMAs was definitely a highlight. Me and the guys had a great time. um you know Put up in a hotel, and well, we paid for the hotel, but it wasn't provided. But
We
yeah, no,
put
so we
ourselves up
stayed.
in a
Yeah,
hotel.
we put ourselves up. We paid a lot of money to be there during that prime weekend. um
No, those weekends are fun, man. It's been a long time since I've been at the CMAs, but it's a fun time. It's
yeah.
like it's a big party the whole weekend.
Mm. Yeah. Well, I mean, you're from PEI, so you were honored with an award from Music PEI, right?
Hmm.
A few years ago.
Yeah,
It was like
I
Musician
was.
of the Year
I
or
think I won Musician of the Year. Yeah. Yeah,
Contributor
so
or
that was
something like
cool.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
were
that
you
was
there for
cool.
that?
Yeah, I came home for that. I was still living in Toronto at the time, and
Okay. Yeah.
thought, hey, that's nice. And
Yeah.
so I came home and uh, received the award, and it was nice.
Cool. I
Very,
mean,
yeah.
awards are nice. I mean, it, like coming from the punk rock world, growing up, and listening to Epitaph and Fat Records bands, and awards are shit, and you want people to listen to your music, but you don't want to be popular. Like, it's a weird dichotomy of, you know I love you but I hate you, and you know
Yeah.
like me but don't like me, or whatever. um
Yeah.
so coming from that, it feels kind of weird to be honored with an award and be comfortable with it. But at the same time, it's like, well, you invested all this time and energy, and put it out because you want people to hear it. I'm not going to lie, I want people to listen to my band and like what they hear and come to the shows. Like, I mean, that's, as an artist, that's what you do it for. You don't do it to stay in your room and have nobody ever hear it. Like, there's lots of Instagrammers that do that. Like,
Hmm.
um, so yeah, I kind of had a little bit of a hard time at first when it was first announced, but then I was like, you know what? It's not for me to decide. 'Cause we made the album. It's out there now. It doesn't belong to us anymore. So if they want to do that, then cool. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. It's it's nice to be appreciated.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
it builds community. And the band that won, Botfly, they're just insanely good. Like, we knew they were going to win because, I mean, they're on like a tour and they've got a whole press release, and they were one of the featured showcase artists at the ECMA. So we were like, yeah, yeah, if anyone's going to win it, it's going to be them. Like, but,
Yeah.
and they did. And it was a good speech. It was real short.
That's good.
I think he came up and said, it's your art, it's your voice. And then he walked off the stage. Like, it was kind of badass.
All right, cool. Yeah.
So what do you have lined up for 2023?
Yeah, so
If we're looking
2023.
past, let's look
Yeah,
ahead.
let's look to the future now.
Yeah.
And 2023, well, there's some more cool stuff coming up with the band. I'm gonna head to the UK and we're playing a run of shows with The Darkness and Blackstone Cherry
Get out.
around.
Really?
Yeah,
Love those two bands.
man, yeah.
Do you need a drum
We're
tech?
we're doing it. I kind of do. It'd be like that
don't
thing where like
don't hire
I
me.
yeah,
I can count to four.
you'd be put up in a hotel room by yourself, putting
Yeah,
yourself
the
up in a hotel.
band.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm used to
No,
that.
yeah, yeah. No, it's yeah. So doing that, and that'll be really fun. I'm really looking forward to that. Some
Mhm.
cool venues, and yeah, like I like those bands too. So I'm looking forward to yeah, man. It's just fun to go and get to see like when you're touring with another band, and you get to um see them play multiple nights in a row. So you kind of
Mhm.
like you start to get to know the set if it's the same set every night, which sometimes it is, and
Mhm.
we're very close. And yeah, they just kind of get to observe like another drummer doing his or her thing.
Mhm.
It's really cool. So I'm looking forward to that. Tell me your plans
Um,
for 2023.
was that
Tell me your plans for
my
2023.
plans? Survive. Yeah,
Nice.
right? Like that's like
Yeah.
major goal. Like get
Yeah.
through the year.
Good one. Good luck.
Good luck. Yeah. No, we're working on our second album. We have about half the songs written. Well, we've worked on half the songs. The other songs, a lot of them are written, but I haven't heard them yet. So I haven't, put my Salt Bay on them.
I love it. Yeah.
My magic dust. So yeah, so we're, setting funds aside to pay for some time to get it done.
Nice.
The goal is to for January. So the goal would be to probably try to record it by end of summer. And then hopefully put it out by the end of the year, if not early the next,
Right
depending
on.
on how quick the process goes. Being a punk band, and I think anytime you're making a punk album, if it takes longer than 2 days to record the drums, you're probably not going to get it. It's probably not going to feel right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my goal, is to get the songs down enough that I can comfortably go in and just rip them out in a couple of days. So that
Do
gives
you
more
find it
time.
do you find it is physically taxing when you have to do
Absolutely.
all the drumming in 2 days? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I did it the last time. We did like 10 songs, but I mean, some of the songs are like a minute and a half long. So,
Yeah.
you mentally taxing. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
What about you? Like, how many songs would you do
Yeah,
in a day?
I find it tough. We usually do the drums in 3 days
Okay.
for a record. So I don't like 3 or 4 songs a day, or
Okay.
5 songs. We did 5 songs in one day. One of the last records.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that's kind of I found it's a lot because you're doing multiple takes. I don't know. It's maybe it's a different vibe than going for the raw punk thing because I'm going for the
The clean
energy plus.
rim shot every
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That to me, that's probably the hardest part, is getting a full take, because we don't pro tool it like Jack is my songwriter, guitar player. He's like an eye shot with headphones on. He's playing the tune. I hear it in my ears, and we literally play the song together. The last album, last like our one album, no click, just played it together, just did the whole vibe thing. And we've been playing in bands since we were kids, so
Yeah.
the what's that word? Chemistry, the visual cues.
Mhm.
Like he was writing eye shots, so anytime like there was like a pause or any type of hiccup, not hiccup, but like those delays, or when you come punch back in, we just did it by feel. And it worked out fine. I think this time we're going to do it a little different. I think Jack's going to go in with the engineer and play the songs to a click, and then he's not going to be there when I do my parts, but I'm going to hear his scratch track that's played to a click. So
Oh
that way
yeah,
there,
that's
I'm not
good.
listening to a click, but it's still going to be
Yeah,
to a grid basically. Yeah.
yeah.
So, but
That's the way to do it.
I think this is
I like the
definitely,
click. Do you
you
like
do?
you know? Yeah, I like having it in the studio.
I've never, I've never done
Never
it.
done it.
No. I mean, I've practiced with it, but I've never,
I
not
think
in
it's
like a
different schools of
studio.
thought, right? If you
Yeah.
want to, it's whatever you're going for.
Yeah. But I definitely want to be more proficient with using it.
Hmm.
Um, I know there's lots of like educators and YouTubers that kind of break it down. Like Beat Down Brown's got a good school of thought on the whole click thing, like how you
Remember the
can
click?
separate it, like how you're always hearing 16th notes even when you're hearing the quarter notes.
Yeah. I think the best way to work with the click is just you got to just work with the click. I think there's going to be
Yeah,
that
just
time
do
when
it.
you just when you start the first time you ever like, okay, here's a pro tip. Pro tip for any drummer that's listening to this thing, because there might be some drummers who haven't recorded before. If you've never recorded before and you know that there's going to be a click track there, practice with one first and get really comfortable with it, because it sucks to have it be the first time that you've ever been asked to use a click track, and be prepared that you might be asked to use one, because it's possible that your time isn't as good as you think it is, or people just it's not as good as someone else wants it to be, or who knows, or people just want to be able to punch in later and it could have nothing to do with you. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you want to be practicing with that click, and yeah,
Yeah.
you can you don't even have to play the drums. Like you said, you can like count along in your head, you can like sing 16th notes in your head,
Mm-hmm.
but the thing is, you just gotta do it, practice with the
Yeah.
click, get used to that. Like the click is right, you're wrong. Essentially, when
Pretty
you're first
much.
starting out,
Yeah.
you're like, what, this thing is like, what
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
going on? It's slowing down or whatever. No, it's not.
And
You
if you're
are
off it, you're like,
you're
oh well, I'm just playing ahead of it. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, yeah, that's even deeper. But like even just being able to play like
Yeah.
with it,
On it.
like on the
Yeah.
beat,
Yeah.
uh is
Um,
or
yeah,
with just consistently, whether you're front or behind or whatever.
we had another kind of dirty rock and roll kind of Nashville Pussy meets Zeke project. And we recorded an album. It's never seen the light of day. It's never been mixed. So it's still all just raw stems. But I remember there was a song and it was a fast song. And the guy that was playing bass in the band, Aaron, he was the recording engineer, and he put a click in my ear, and it was like tick 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 tick, and I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to play to that? And I'd
Oh
never
yeah,
played with a click before in my life. I was just like, no, screw that. It's never going to get done if that's in my head. But it was like, tick, 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 tick.
yeah. That
I was
reminds
like,
me of playing live, and I had this metronome, and I would be using it for playing some of the songs, and I needed a new metronome, and I hadn't got it yet, and so like I was using a foot pedal to change the tempos. Maybe somebody out there can relate to me, somebody listening here, and it clicked to the next one, which wasn't programmed. So it and it's one of those doctor beats. So it's got triplets, it's got 16th note
oh
like
no.
subdivisions, it's got all these things. So you're just kind of playing a song, and then all of a sudden it's like just friggin' madness in your ear. The thing to do is just turn it off. But it's like
Yeah.
it so I felt for you there when you told me that story about the not
Uh,
knowing what to do with that.
yeah.
Yeah, you gotta hey, quarter notes. It's nice to use some people like to use quarter notes
Hmm.
for their click.
Yeah.
So
I
when
mean,
you
it's the
count one, two,
compass,
three,
right?
four, you get tick,
Yeah.
tick, tick, tick. Some people, though, you might want to add in an eighth note there, and it might not be quite as loud. It might be like tick, 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 tick.
Yeah.
Might
There's
give
a
you
different
just a little
sound.
bit more.
Something
Yeah,
to like
just
you can find where the one is at least.
yeah, and you know where your offbeat is, and then you got something to kind of groove with, as
Hmm.
opposed to just tick, 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 tick.
Yeah. Because then if you get lost, you can still play on the click, but you're not in the right spot.
Oh yeah, you want to be on the right. Yeah, you
You
don't want
want
to
to,
get lost. No,
yeah,
you want to make sure that you're hearing that click. Again, practice with the click.
yeah,
You don't want that's brutal. That's
yeah.
brutal.
I think I need
That
to
gives
buy a
me
metronome. I don't
I
have
get
one.
makes me nervous thinking about that. Getting lost and playing on the
Hmm.
wrong.
So when you're playing with Danko, do you have a click all the time, or is it just everything is just autopilot as far as tempo?
Uh, it's a combo. It's a
Okay.
combo, but it's
So there
nice.
are
It's nice
songs
to
where
have
you have it.
yeah, it's nice to have the reference. When you're some drummers are good enough to just always they just have the tempos deep in them.
Hmm.
Um, I, when my blood gets pumping, tempos, my
Tend to
perception of
fast
what the
get a
tempo
little
is, yeah,
faster.
it's like it feels slow and it's not slow. It's actually
Mhm.
whatever. So
So
I
do
like
you
to have
have
that
like
to
just the
count
first
me on.
like do you have like the
That
just the
depends.
first
Sometimes I let it
couple
roll.
bars and then
Sometimes I'll turn it off. Sometimes I'll let it go.
yeah, okay, cool.
But you know what?
Um,
Then the audience gets to hear it, the tempo of the record. So, I
yeah,
mean, it's different schools of thought. Again, some people might like to go to a show and oh, cool, they're like jamming this one, or they're doing it
yeah.
faster, or whatever. And then some people are like, what the heck is this? Isn't how it goes, you know?
This isn't the record. I
This
want to go
isn't
listen to
the
the
song
record.
I know.
Well,
He's doing
go
it
listen to the
wrong.
record. Don't go to the live
Yeah.
show. Listen to the record.
No, I like both. I like both. I think we play it. We play it. You want to know what a show like our show is? We're gonna play the song pretty damn close to the record.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's how we do it.
but I mean, I haven't
No.
physically been to a show. But I've listened to the live albums. I've watched the YouTube vids. I watched your set at Vakken. Um, it's just a damn good rock show. Whether it's like the album or you jam some spots
Mhm.
out just to ham up the crowd or whatever. Like it's just a damn good rock show. Yeah. I think this
Is that
is
a good note to end it on?
I
I
think
think
so.
if
Yeah.
the
Just
takeaway from this is that Rich plays in a really cool band, uh, and get the newsletter,
yeah.
and I don't know what else we come up with.
If you're a punk drummer, you probably shouldn't play the blues. Or maybe you
Well,
should. No, you should actually.
I don't know,
Yes,
man. You,
you
you got
should
you
play the
got
blues.
you got that nomination, man. They got it when you were playing with them, so that's something, right?
Yeah. Well,
Also, we're gonna do this again, right? And we're gonna have guests in the future.
hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. We're going to bring on, like I said, some other touring drummers, some drummers that play in the club scenes, some educators. Yeah, just a bunch of cool cats that play on the Los Cabos brand. I mean, I don't know. It's this is the pilot episode. We're gonna see
Yeah,
where we go, see where it takes us.
cool.
You be kind of cool to have if anyone likes this and then kind of has questions either for you or for me or
Oh, we could
suggestions
do a
on
Q&A or
again, yeah,
suggestion box.
some Q&As, that'd be kind of cool.
That'd be a
Send us
cool
some.
episode. Just like this episode is just Q&As.
Oh yeah, it'd
Uh,
be cool.
yeah, it's like, all right, this is a real short one.
See if we can get some people from Los Cabos, you know, from the company in, like
Hmm.
Phil or Steph or Ryan or other people. Put some spotlight on that. And
Big time. I just wanted to show you something.
okay,
So
cool.
when I ordered the last batch of sticks, this speaks to how nice and cool everybody is.
Hmm.
So I got this little keychain.
Yeah.
That's just nice, right?
Yep.
Flip it around. It's mine.
No
It's got
way.
my stuff on it. So that was like
I was gonna say
that was
I have
pretty.
a keychain, but I don't have a Rich Knox Fit Drummers keychain.
I don't know if they're going to start selling these, the Rich Knox ones. I don't know, guys. If you're listening,
No.
uh, I don't know. No, but I was very happy to. I thought that was very cool to
That,
get that.
like you said, it speaks
That's
to
the personal touch we're talking about, right?
yeah, right. I can't speak to other brands and other companies because I've never been endorsed by another company. I haven't sought it out. But I don't know if my level of expectation for another brand, another company to meet what I've experienced with the people at Los Cabos.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good peeps.
good peeps. All right, cool. So yeah, we're gonna say goodbye on the first episode of the Quarter Notes. I almost said the name of my other podcast. So yeah, I have more to do with that too. So yeah, so this is the first episode of Quarter Notes. presented by Los Cabos Drumsticks. I've said that backwards, but whatever.
Hey, that's good. Let's redo it.
Oh, this is it. That's not. I'm not doing it again.
Ah,
No.
okay.
You can do it.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to the first episode of Los Cabos Drumsticks presents Quarter Notes.
Cool. Bye.
Bye.